to investments, in many households, one spouse is in charge, and it makes it a lot easier on the other one. But then what happens in a worst-case scenario? Both partners really need to have control when it comes to their financial future. And joining us this morning on Good Day is Dorrell. She's a financial advisor who can help you get started on a solid financial plan. Good to see you, Jean. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So you see a lot of women are the ones who really need to sort of get up to snuff when it comes to the financial investments. It seems the ladies are real good about, doing the bills and taking care of that kind of thing, but not so great when it comes to the investments. Is that right?
That's exactly right. I think it just boils down to interest. I like to joke and say I'd be a much better cook if I were just interested. So women tend to not be as interested as they should. They pay the bills, they budget, but men take more of the role of the investing. And then the men automatically assume, because they've written everything down, that she'll be able to follow their guideline and step into his shoes if something happens to him. And this just isn't the case. We're seeing that women need to learn more about their finances so that they can help Bob if Bob can't remember his name.
Right. Well, no, it's an excellent point. All right. So you say you've got to take inventory. What do you mean by that?
Well, you've got to take some inventory of what you have. Women need to ask themselves, do they know about their investments? Are they informed? If they're not, I've got a great checklist on my website at thesmartmoneygal.com, and they can go in there and see where the holes are in their portfolio so we can get those fixed. You remember, knowledge is power, and we want women to have as much knowledge as possible.
Absolutely. Next, you say you've got to save. Do you mean save individually, set aside money apart from your husband?
Well, you need to save so that you can plan for your future. And again, you want to learn as much about your finances as possible. Go to the community college, take a class, join an investment club, because knowledge is power. And you want to make sure that you know as much as possible. Bob just automatically assumes that Mary's going to be able to step in and take over if something happens to him. I like to say to Bob, hey, if Mary wrote down all the ingredients of her favorite recipe, would you be able to make it turn out like Mary could?
That's a great analogy. No, it's absolutely true. All right, and then next you say don't fall into the style trap. What do you mean by that?
Well, the style trap can be anything from spending too much money to not knowing about your finances. You want to work with a patient, trusted advisor, one who listens, one who's going to have the needs of women in mind, and don't be afraid to walk away if that person is talking above your head or doesn't listen to you.
Okay, and this is one that a lot of ladies need work on. Learn to say no. How do you mean that one?
Well, you want to say no when someone is asking you to do something that's not comfortable. For example, women fall into the trap of if something does happen to Bob, they fall on their children to help them with their investing. Well, your children have a different timeline than you and a different risk tolerance, so don't be afraid to say no to an investment that feels inappropriate.
All right, last but not least, negotiate your salary. This is something a lot of ladies don't like to do.
Well, we don't like to do it because we're not comfortable with it. We're used to budgeting and paying the bills. We're not used to paying ourselves. So again, working with a trusted advisor and taking that checklist on thesmartmoneygal.com will get you fixed up.
All right, financial advisor Jean Dorrell, thanks so much for being with us this morning and for the great advice.
Thank you.